this tower.
Yeah, and Kinder's gonna pick up her first.
Raccoon was getting a little spicy, looking for that engage. He's gonna have to flash away. That's gonna be first blood going over to the Jin. Wave closer to his turret. We do see the fight starting up right here. We've got the Virtuoso shooting off a shot in the bot lane. That's gonna be a nice heal coming out for Red Milk Tea, and this fight though is going in the favor of RSL. They are able to get off a couple of kills. Steve is gonna be a huge root, as unfortunately we're gonna see Sillatrix take down Steve the Crusader. This is going to be an absolutely massive fight. We have the Kindred ultimate dropping almost immediately. Fighting inside of that is going to be huge, but it's not going to be enough. That is a massive explosion from Vladimir, picking up the double kill. Raccoon trying to do some work, but unfortunately they're just going to get jumped on by the Tom Kench, who has been unbenched. Rogue Trader is going to get just shredded by the waiting for him. Perpetual Dusk puts out the lights on the god.
Oh my goodness!
That is going to be huge, and Sinitrix going on a killing spree, just draining the life out of Raccoon, means that there is just happened.
Yeah, I think Goofy Goobers got a little ahead of themselves with this draft. They tried to basically pick the RSL draft that failed last game, and it's going to fail as well. So now we're going to get to a very exciting Game 5 as we start to hit the Nexus. But first, one more fight.
One more fight, lots of damage coming out right here. We are going to see Atlas go on a rampage to take out the Caitlyn. And you know what's really funny? Hello, folks, and welcome back to game number 5 between Goofy Goobers and Ragnarok Esports. Loki, I'm your friendly neighborhood shotcaster, Sharagan, War Leader, once again joining me on the caster's desk. My friend, I am surprised you have held up for nearly 5 straight games.
I am in it all the way. This series has been so exciting, and I absolutely can't wait to see what happens in Game 5. I love watching these drafts evolve as these games go on, and I would be surprised if we saw a single champion ban that was banned in the first game.
Well, so far, we're already seeing the Poppy and the Nocturne once again taken off the board, the Akali taken away from Random Capitals because we know you don't let him pick that up. And we see the Seraphine taken away as well from Steve the Crusader, a very powerful sustained champion that would have been absolutely devastating just in any of these comps that we've seen Goofy Goobers pull out. And we have the Janna taken away from Evan with an eye, which we saw was a great response as well.
Oh, Graves was banned in the first game. I was almost right on no bans in the first game in this phase, but Ragnarok does not want to deal with Red Milk Tea's Graves, and now that they don't have first pick, it is going over to Goofy Goobers, and that might be the difference. They're going to first pick Jinx.
Okay, first picking Jinx means that they're obviously looking at the rest of their roster as being more important, as they don't mind playing into a counter pick. That is yet another late game scaling champion, though, so they are looking towards the 30-40 minute timer rather than that 20-minute win.
Yeah, and that's something that we've seen kind of go away for a bit, and it does open up a counterpick, like you said, Perpetual Dusk's Jin, which popped off so hard last game, and he's got it again in Game 5.
Yep, picking up the Jin once again. We're getting that Virtuoso on the field. So we'll have to see exactly what kind of symphony he decides to play for us today. So it'll be really interesting. And then we have the Karma to pair it up once again. A champion that we have seen Evan pull off very, very well. The Jarvan insta-locked as soon as it switches over. And the Rakan as well.
Goofy Goobers creating a very solid team fight composition, and RSL haven't really showed their hands on what exactly they want to do with the Jin and the Karma yet. It works for so many teams. They're going to lock in Vladimir for Sinitrix. Last ban of Red Side, that means they're going to ban out counterpick mid laners again. And basically say, Random Capitals, you have nothing for this Vladimir. We saw your Cassiopeia. It wasn't enough. What are you going to show us this time that's different? Taking away Orianna and Victor, notably Ari on the board wasn't last time. And we're going to have to see what Random Capitals, who had a lot of standout performances on Akali this series, has to show up with another pick this game.
Right. I do feel like Ari would not necessarily be the greatest choice just because of the fact that Vladimir has a lot of point and click damage that he's able to pull out. So even if she's able to dash away. If she dashes in range quick enough and Cinetrix is able to just get that click off, that's going to be the damage coming through regardless of how things play out. We do see that the Kench has once again been unbenched and is being responded to with Gnar. So we're going to have to see exactly how far Goofy Goobers are able to take this.
Yeah, Rogue Trader looked so good on Gnar in that first game, and Kassadin is Random Capital's answer to Vladimir. Goofy Goobers have chosen scaling. They have chosen the late game team fight, and that's the way the series has gone for the most part so far, even though, so it's interesting, right? Because these games do get out to early leads, but it's these mid and late game fights that are really deciding it and putting the nail in the coffin, and Goofy Goobers fully lean into it. It's the Kassadin, new splash art, and everything. Meanwhile, RSL Udyr is going to be their jungler complement to the rest of their composition, and their team moves fast.
Their team moves very fast. And I personally, I know that Kassadin has had his splash art changed, and a lot of folks are kind of like not too plussed about it. Personally, I really like it. I think it's kind of cool, give him that nice menacing look. I do think it's going to be really interesting to see exactly how the Void ends up shaping out here in these next couple of updates, because I have a feeling that's where Riot is going with things. And speaking with where Riot is going with things, FOF is actually having a Valorant tournament next weekend, so be sure to keep an eye out for that.
Definitely, I know RLS will be sending a team to that one, so it should be pretty exciting. That being said, as we start to look at these compositions in this final Game 5, we're seeing no cheeky stuff. Teams want to safely get delivered to their early game. We're just seeing...
I don't know. You said no cheeky stuff. We're already seeing a 3-man walk across this mid lane.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. Red Milk Tea maybe biting off more than they can chew. Tongue Lash. Not going to hit.
Nah. They're just going to drop the banner on Weak Side's head, deal a little bit of damage, and then just walk away.
Yeah, so going into this, I have to say, I think that Goofy Goober's composition is absolutely incredible if this game goes past about the 25-minute mark. And it's going to really be a timer in terms of RSL to end this game before the Jinx comes online, the Kassadin comes online, and the rest of the team fight tools for the side of Goofy Goobers can really decide things in this grouped up setting. But we saw how effective Tom Kench and Vladimir were split apart from the rest of their team last time. And if Perpetual Dusk gets the kind of lead in lane that they got last game, well, what I think is a harder matchup, last game that is, then we can really see RSL run away with this one. And I think that's what they're going to have to do. So look to Perpetual Dusk in this early game.
Yeah, definitely going to be looking for those bot lane fights. We can see once again Jin and Karma stepping up, trying to see if they can get some damage off. They do spot out Rakan, dropping a ward right there. Rakan is able to see it as well. This bot already, those empowered Qs, I swear, are just so devastating coming out from a Karma at level 1.
Yeah, and they denied Jinx those first 3 melee minions, which is already about 60 gold that Jinx isn't going to get this game. But also, they may have even pushed her out of EXP range. It was too close for me to tell, but that might truly swing this early game if Jin and Karma have that XP lead. They're definitely going to hit level 2 first.
Absolutely. Hitting that level 2 first does mean that we're going to see this. There's no engage available, though, because of how far they're pushed up on this tower. It is going to be a great opportunity for Jarvan to try and make something happen here. The ward is still live, but it's placed in such a way that there is a route for him to sneak by. We do see the Rakan trying to find the engage with the W, isn't quite able to get that entrance in. We do see the nice dive. The flash is going to come out from Perpetual Dusk. Flash is going to come out from the Karma. So that's a lot of resources expunged in order to just survive this. The exhaust also came out, so that means that there is no summoners on Evan, and Perpetual Dusk is down their flash.
That being said, that means Atlas is a full 3 camps ahead of this Jarvan right now, and is going to have to use that pressure in their own play at some point in the map relatively soon if they want to match the pressure that Red Milk Tea has put out so early. And going towards this topside Scuttle Crab is going to secure themselves an early lead, even when Jarvan gets to their camps.
Yeah, Jarvan at least did manage to pick up all of those bot lane camps, so they are able to get it. But as you said, we already see Udyr going for this Scuttle Crab. Rogue Trader getting engaged on, just stepping just outside the Abyssal Voyage to avoid getting knocked up. The Smite's going to come out, and that is going to be just at the last possible second. Red Milk Tea managing to snag that blue buff.
But the Gromp does seem to be going the way of Udyr right now. I don't think there's any way Red Milk Tea is going to be able to get there. So Atlas is establishing a nice tempo lead, but the early gank on the bot side has totally changed the way that this bot side is looking. It put the wave towards the tower of Raccoon Acquire and Steve, and that means they've been the ones securing a CS lead where Perpetual Dusk was dominating.
And that is a massive CS lead, too. That's 2 whole waves, and that's going to be the bot Rift Scuttle going over to the side of Goofy Goobers. So that means that they're going to be able to have a little bit more control of this bot side jungle. We can see J4 already looking for a little bit of an engage, might be trying to continue this bot lane gank.
Yeah, but the wave's pushed so far under the tower of RSL that I don't think there's really going to be an opportunity. Still looking, though, and it means that Perpetual Dusk can't step up too far, can't get too aggressive on this Jhin, or is going to get punished wildly for it. Shouldn't be an issue the way the wave's going, though.
No, it really shouldn't, and we know that Perpetual Dusk was probably hoping for an Udyr gank, but even though the wave has been shoved under their tower, there's nothing that Udyr could have done, even if they wanted to, with that vision being able to spot them out. So they're just going to start rotating once again to this top side with their absolutely insane clear speed. They have almost got double the CS of Red Milk.
Yeah, and that's exactly the way Atlas has to play this game. Jarvan does have a distinct early game advantage, and does team fight better than the Udyr, but we're starting to see what the strengths of this Udyr pick are. It's clearing very, very fast, getting more gold than the Jarvan, and come this mid-game, come this late early game, the Udyr should be able to run around really fast, be a nuisance to kill, and start to open up opportunities for RSL.
Yeah, and see, I love these pings coming out from GOOF right now. They know that Udyr's in the topside jungle, and they have no vision on it, so they're not entirely sure if he's here to help with this gank on Cinetrix, because this is a very gankable lane against this Kassadin. And so they're able to basically just get the CS and walk away, which is going to allow them to have a lot of pressure for this mid lane. And they're basically we're going to have to see if GOOF is able to secure the vision here. And we can see Udyr already making their way down bot lane. Jarvan is also going to work their way there, but they're going to be a little bit late to the party.
Yeah, Evan with an eye is trying to be the aggressor on the random capitals who has to rift walk away before Udyr can get to the play. And this might be an intense 3v3 if it breaks out. There's the engage.
This is going to be a very intense 3v3. The engage has started. The flash is going to come over the wall. Random capitals having to get flash in order to stay alive as the fight continues. However, that's going to be first blood going over to the Jarvan. That is a nice ignite coming out as Atlas manages to take down capitals with that damage. Red Milk Tea trying to get away. Is not going to be able to. That's going to be the flash over the wall. Lots of damage coming out. And that is going to be huge as this first Drake is going to go over to the side of the RSL, and that means that extra little bit of attack speed is going to be for them.
Yeah, Atlas does so much more damage than Red Milk Tea, and these extended skirmishes and phase rushes allowing
Steve kind of being a little bit cheeky, just stepping inside there, and we do see that Jinx is stepping around as well, trying to take this out. The smite, though, is available, and then unfortunately that's going to mean that Raccoon's going to have to flash to stay alive. Woo! That was a little bit spicier than I thought.
Yeah, I'm a little confused of what Raccoon Acquire's thought process was. Maybe he didn't think Atlas had Smite available, but it is through. And wow, this blue side bot lane's trying to be so aggressive, even though they're down early in this one. Atlas has proved to be quite strong thus far into the game. Now, when Red Milk Tea does hit level 6, things start to get a little better for the Jarvan. Udyr's level 6 spike really isn't anything special. There's no ultimate ability that comes online. Meanwhile, Cataclysm over Jarvan.
Trying to get the stun off. Doesn't quite throw him far enough, though.
Yeah, and Jarvan's Cataclysm is a big cooldown that will be very relevant as this game goes on. Not quite going to find it yet, though. It's going to be Atlas securing that level lead, going to cycle those topside camps. Evan with an eye might be the target for the Jarvan.
He's definitely getting looked at right now. Karma getting jumped on. They are going to be able to walk around, though. Flash is going to come over the wall, but look at that. We got the dash over in order to get that. The just missed rocket. Oh, that would have been so devastating. Unfortunately, that means that we are going to see Evan able to get away. Their flash is once again down, though, almost as soon as it came up.
Yeah, and look at the advantage that Udyr's been able to acquire in terms of CS, in terms of level. 33 CS advantage, and Jarvan only has 40 CS to their name, and there's still a red buff and a Krug's camp for this Udyr to take, and I think they're going to look towards this Rift Herald.
Interestingly enough, they did pick up the Giant Slayer first, which I think is kind of an interesting choice. Or, sorry, the Chain Whip. Sorry, it looked like a Giant Slayer. I forgot that that's not an item anymore.
Yeah, that I don't know. It's pretty standard for Jarvan these days to grab the whip first. The clear speed of Jarvan is not very fast, and you really need a lot of help on this AoE camp. So on Jarvan specifically, definitely more valued over the Warhammer. I believe is the other option, building into that Goredrinker. I am slightly surprised to see Red Milk Tea not switch gears and go for the Chemtech Zanya's build that's been dominating pro play. That being said, though, this build definitely does a lot more damage, and they're looking to Red Milk Tea to make things happen early in the game. So Iron Spike Whip definitely does that a little more than Bammy Cinder, as we might see a 2v2 skirmish on the top side. Doesn't look like much is going to develop out of it.
I feel like GOOF knows if this game goes long enough, their win is all but assured. Once the Kassadin, like we said, once the Kassadin and Jinx come online. So they're seeing this fight and they're like, oh, we could totally take this, but you know what? It's safer not to, and let's just go ahead and keep scaling up, and eventually they'll just lose because they didn't kill us fast enough.
Yeah, and putting the pressure.
Ooh, nice knockup. Nice knockup.
Yeah, looking for Senatrix. Not going to find more than a single knockup. Evan with an eye is there to dissuade anything further from going. But yeah, it is definitely RSL's game right now. They have to push their lead hard before the Jinx scales and becomes a team fight monster, before Nara becomes a team fight monster, before Kassadin hits that level 16 power spike that he is very well known for. And so far, things have been going RSL's way. It's not a dominant lead, but it's a significant lead.
That's the knockback that you want to see. The nice stun as we see Weak Side Veteran getting himself pummeled in the face. Abyssal Voyage to escape, though, does mean that pool noodle fight is going to continue. But in the bot lane, we've got Evan getting jumped on. The Cataclysm locking in Karma. Nowhere for the Spirit of Ionia to go.
Yeah, not respecting where Red Milk Tea on the map and over-pushing the aggression is certainly a way to have your team get outskilled quite quickly. Luckily, Karma back up in time. Minute 15 till this second break, and it will be important, but Random Capitals did teleport to the bot lane play, and it means they're going to drop the Herald in mid lane. That's 4 plates now. Ooh, not quite the 4th plate. That is 4 plates.
Random Capitals just kind of like jumping in onto Cinetrix, knowing that even though the Cataclysm is not going to be available here. Nice knockup coming out, though, just as it comes out of the pool. He's going to get ignited and taken out. That is a lot of damage coming right there. Karma has come in to join the fray. We see the burn on Random Capitals as they're trying to take him away, but Atlas is not able to quite finish him off. Red Milk Tea able to back away, and that is going to be a disengage from the Goofy Goobers as they managed to pick up the Vladimir without losing a member.
Yeah, and I really like the way Goofy Goobers have been playing this. It's a very controlled aggression. They know that time is on their side, and all they have to do is slow down the pace of the game. But that doesn't mean you can't take fights, and when you find something favorable, when you find Cinetrix overextending, trying to find one more auto for that play, it can be devastating, and it's very important to punish mistakes like that.
It is really important, and especially in talking about mistakes, Rogue Trader flashing away from the Tom Kench as they got engaged on. I feel like that they thought that they were going to get hit a lot harder, or there was something else about to happen. So unfortunately, that is going to be a huge resource that they do not have available. The unlocked teleport is not here yet. So they're not able to teleport to the minions, not able to teleport across the map. We do see them sticking around, though, as J4 is looping his way around onto this weak side veteran.
Yeah, and here comes Gnar going
there. It is,
the
ultimate Mega Gnar getting the knockup, and we see Red Milk Tea coming in. The Cataclysm, the Abyssal Voyage is not quick enough, and that is going to be another kill for the Jarvan.
Yeah, but this is an opportunity for Atlas to now grab this Ocean Drake for their team, and there's going to have to be a skirmish for it. Red Milk Tea hasn't started walking towards the Dragon Pit yet, so maybe this is RSL's Dragon. We're going to have to see if there's any sort of cheeky Jinx rockets or Kassadin Rift walks that are going to happen, but it doesn't look like it so far.
Not quite this time. We are going to see yet another Drake easily go over to the side. The Jinx rocket coming in just a little bit too late. No vision does mean that was a really hard rocket to try and shoot. Unfortunately, not much you can do there. However, we do have Random Capitals jumping onto Cinetrix. That is going to be the Kassadin Rift walking on top. The flash coming out. The charm as well means that the pool's going to come out a little bit late. But look, the rest of the members of RSL have arrived. We have the Udyr jumping onto Red Milk Tea. Red Milk Tea having to flash away to just get out. Gets just outside the curtain call. Stays alive. But unfortunately, that's going to be the Rakan's going to lose his life to the Vladimir. And that means that we've got Jinx now trying to pepper off some shots, trying to get some shot damage in. Not quite able to do it. And that's going to mean that the rest of GOOF has to disengage as these 4 members of RSL turned that fight around.
Yeah, and Cinetrix, their second kill of the game, Vladimir, could be the scaling option of choice for the mid-game. And, you know, we've been talking about the scaling on the side of GOOF, and it definitely favors them, but Vladimir is a late game monster and is quite accelerated in this one, so could become terrifying before the composition gets online. And if this game goes super late, it's not as if RSL have no tools to fight back. That being said, though, we are going to start to go back to more of an even state now, going back to lanes. And right now, it's RSL. They have a little less than 1,000 gold to their lead to their name. Hextech and an Ocean Drake in their pockets goes a long way, especially in this early game. And Mountain is the soul once again. And this series, RSL have picked up a Mountain Soul before, and I'm sure they would love to once again.
Yes, and with those plates gone, it does mean that these turrets are going to fall that much quicker. Top lane, unfortunately, is the only option for GOOF to try and get that first tower, but it's going to go over to the mid lane take as Cinetrix is able to shove in this wave. We do see that the rest of the members of GOOF are trying to stop it, but they aren't quite able to do it. In the meantime, we got a Poondle fight going on up here. Weak side trying to fight and engage on the Rogue Trader.
Yeah, a lot of brawling in this top side. It hasn't resulted in too much. Darwin got the one kill onto that Tom Kench on the top side. And Rogue Trader, once again, on the Snar, coming out to a really solid gold lead. Weak side veteran maybe burning out Abyssal Voyage. He is getting poked a little bit, but nothing too serious is going to result. But Rogue Trader has built themselves a solid CS lead. But speaking of solid CS leads, you look one row lower on that scoreboard, and you see Atlas 50 CS above Red Milk Tea's Jarvan.
50 CS above Red Milk Tea's Jarvan, and we got Kassadin a little bit behind as well, so that could end up playing a role. But we've got Steve the Crusader up here in the top lane trying to even this up. Look at this Atlas trying to get that jump onto the Rakan, not quite able to do it. And we do see that once again the Rakan has to disengage from the rest of this fight in order to keep this from going in the favor of RSL.
Yeah, and this game hasn't exploded yet. It's definitely either team's game to win, but RSL have now solidified the goal lead.
We've got Gnar going to be caught out right here. Rogue Trader trying to fight a way to get away from these four. Man, that's going to be a huge knockback. We see him trying to get the damage on a weak side veteran, not quite able to do it, as unfortunately he just gets completely monstered by the four members of RSL. Now Jinx just knows that they've got a free wave to push, so they're going to try and push whatever advantage they can, but that means that this Rift Herald is going to be for the taking of RSL. Red Milk Tea trying to find an engage, unfortunately finds himself walking right into the Vladimir, has to dive into this mid lane in order to try and get away.
Yeah, and so Jinx does get some time to free farm, and she's really happy to get that time, but Rogue Trader was building a pretty dominating top-side presence, shutting that down, delaying the CS lead, and just Gnar knocking on the tower is very important for RSL. A very good map rotation from four members of their team to get up there to shut them down. They're going to grab the Herald. They're going to stop the mid push. Ultimately, weak side veteran gets to that bot lane to stop the bot push, and the Herald will go down, and Atlas is going to pick up that eye.
We are going to see them pick that eye up. And speaking of things to keep your eye on the FOF merch store. It's going to be open up here in about 2 weeks once again, so you can pick up some of those items. And plus, you've got to keep an eye on which team here ends up taking the victory medal and getting the hoodie of their own, which will be really exciting to see.
Absolutely. Rogue Trader is going to ultimately grab this top tower, which will reduce the gold lead down to about... down to 1,500, which is definitely going to be nice. But Atlas is looking for Raccoon Acquire in his tower.
Does actually manage to get a nice stun onto Jinx. Jinx taking a lot of damage, running back into their teammates. Does manage to get out of there. Does start peppering those rockets into the Cataclysm, turning that fight around. And that is going to be absolutely devastating for RSL. That is going to be the Mountain Drake coming up, as there are now plenty of team members for GOOF to try and jump in on this. And that is huge for Goofy Goobers.
Critical time to have 5 members in your bot lane. They sniff out the play that Atlas is going to make, and they're going to find more!
And the fight continues. Vladimir doing so much damage. Red Milk Tea getting burned away, shut down as the Mountain Drake manages to take the shot. Look at the Gnar jumping on the backline, getting a huge knock up into the wall. Cinetrix is going to be brought exceptionally low as well. We see Kassadin jumping right on top of him and takes him out, getting that shut down. And that fight was absolutely massive.
Critical misstep from the side of RSL. They try and make a play on Jinx under the bot lane turret, but they're not cognizant of where the rest of the members of Goofy Goobers are. Steve the Crusader waiting in the wings. Kassadin's already started rotating long before anything happens, and they're setting up for the break. But Atlas comes screaming out of nowhere. Raccoon Inquirer still has flash up, going to flash to safety in the Cataclysm. Beautiful from Red Milk Tea to lock them in that pit. The rocket coming out just in time to save Raccoon Inquirer's life. And then over at the Dragon, it should be Goofy Goobers for the taking, and this is where things start to get really bad for RSL when they no longer are stacking these Dragons. But they go forward, and they know Cinetrix is really strong, but not 3v4 strong. They do find an early pick on a Red Milk Tea at the cost of their support. But then, Gnar has built Rage and finds a massive ultimate, and that just puts the fight to bed.
It really does, and that allowing them to pick up that Drake is going to mean that they've got some nice resistances coming to them. Of all of the Drakes that Goof could have gotten for a soul, this is not one you wanted. Oh, we had a TP come out as well as we've got the rest of the members coming out here. That's going to be Atlas jumping in on this. This was a fight we didn't quite catch, but they're going to be taken out yet again. Oh my goodness, and we see that once again, Weakside tried to do something, does actually manage to pick that up, does shut down the Kassadin, but the Gnar is able to take down the Drake. Wow, that was a fight that we did not expect to see.
That's such a risky play.
Spoilers in the time code there. I saw that.
Weakside Veteran and Atlas just getting a little ahead of themselves on that play. I mean, it's a valiant effort, but wow. This really puts it in a bad spot for RSL. They're now down in gold. Not much, mind you, but it was their game to lose, and now they may have lost it. The scaling's very much in the favor of Goofy Goobers this game. Now, Cinetrix is still really strong. Weakside Veteran and Atlas are going to be very tanky in this game. Perpetual Dusk still has a lot of utility. So it's possible, and it's not dire yet, but I imagine this is going to be dire quite soon.
It very well could be, and while raw data switching to the side of your opponent is something that it can be okay to deal with and does end up causing you problems, it's the mental that tends to be the most devastating. So losing a fight like that could, now that we've talked about this momentum shift, does mean that it's going to be a very, very potentially difficult thing for RSL to overcome. We can see now some posturing happening around the mid lane over by this Baron. It is up right now. I don't expect us to see any Baron sneaks just yet. We do see Gnar getting collapsed on. This could end up being very, very bad.
Now just going to be the Herald dropped instead. Rogue Trader thinks they've survived the onslaught, going to hop away. Everyone Eye is going to land the root. There's not going to be any follow-up. And towers are going to drop. Now the question is, can Goof get onto this Baron?
It's going to be really interesting to see what exactly Rogue Trader decides to do here. They are getting a nice bit of damage off onto this Rift Herald, able to take it out before he gets that second charge off. The sneak on the Baron is not technically a sneak because people are standing on that vision. We see Atlas trying to run in, walks over the control ward, and instead of jumping on him, Goof takes the smart play, the safe play, and just decides to back off.
Yep, so ultimately that is a good play for RSL, right? They do get that outer tower in the bot lane. They don't quite get the charge on the inner tower, and they stop the Baron play. So overall, really good, well done from RSL. Certainly doesn't put them out of the woods. It's a nice step to, just take some standing gold off the map. It was definitely risky, and I think we started to see things can go really wrong at any time.
I feel like that was a situation where you just know Red Milk was wanting to Cataclysm on top of Atlas, but having that flash available to just get out of the walls and back onto those carries does mean that it's a really risky move to play. So they've got to wait and make sure that they expend some of those resources ahead of time. Kassadin in this top lane doing a great job pressuring this side wave does mean that they're going to draw some attention from the Udyr, and will be interesting to see exactly how it ends up playing out. We see right now that a nice knockback coming out from the Gnar does get a lot of damage off. We do see Rogue Trader getting brought out of Mega though, but he's going to get Evan with an eye brought very low, but those shields from Karma are just strong enough, and then we're going to manage to get away. That was very well done by RSL.
Yeah, I really thought they were going to take down... Oh, no, the rocket!
Down!
Oh, my goodness. And the play goes in the favor of Goof at the end of the day. Super Mega Death Rocket. Can't ever sleep on it. Can't ever go shopping.
You really can't. And if we look at the timer, I think that flash has just another couple of seconds to come back up. So that's got to be teasing Evan with that cooldown.
Yeah, we're seeing big fight.
We got a fight here in the top lane as well. Random Capital's getting a jump on that Rift Walk, doing a lot of damage to the Kench.
Oh my goodness, and it's really started to fall away. They cast it in at 5-2-5. Random Capital's poised for another pop-off performance. And almost entirely safely getting delivered to level 11 with that powered Rift Walk is very, very strong. Only 3 more levels until it becomes nearly unstoppable for the side of RSL. And it's going to take some very creative fighting and creative pathing for RSL to stay in this one. And it's going to start right about now, 35 seconds till this next Drake.
Yes, and once this Drake comes online, both teams are going to be looking for a engaged, looking for that pick, looking for that fight before the actual objective take. And so it's going to be really interesting. We do see Karma getting caught out, stepping out a little bit far. The Cataclysm is going to get dropped very early, so that means that Evan is going to have to flash away in order to continue this fight. But now that the Cataclysm is down, that just means that the rest of RSL knows that the go button can be hit, and they're good to go. Look at this. Virtuoso is dropping down the curtain call. He's trying to shut out the light. Raccoon taking multiple shots is not able to survive the onslaught. However, the damage that's coming out from Goofy Goobers is not enough to deal with the situation. Is Kassadin going to go for the Castle win? We see that he's all by himself, trying to Rift Walk away, trying to do what he can, but unfortunately, it looks like he's not going to be able to do too much. He has to go golden just to stay alive. We see that he's going to flash over the wall. The shield's going to come out to keep him alive, blocking some of those shots in order to keep him from taking any more damage. That was huge by Steve the Crusader.
Yeah, but that being said, RSL have reestablished themselves a foothold in this game. They're going to secure themselves Mountain Soul Point, and that is a very identifiable win condition. But also with the one fight on their back, they can go over to this Baron, and with Raccoon Acquire is up, and Red Moat T has just spawned, so this could be a little risky to go for. We're going to have to see. No, they're not going to end up starting up a big group war.
No, it's because of the fact that there's just enough vision over here for RSL to know that they do not have the element of surprise. They're just basically going to try and ward it up and make sure that the rest of Goofy Goobers does not do it themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And wow, this has been such an interesting game so far. Gold still in favor of Goofy Goobers. But this Vladimir Sinitrix playing it so well, and Rogue Trader might not be ready. No, Rogue Trader's
Rogue Trader's totally ready. He knows exactly what he's in for. Unfortunately, he's not able to go mega quick enough. And we do see Atlas right now just clearing out some vision over by the Baron Pit. That was almost really good for Rogue. Unfortunately, he's just not able to get the damage out in order to take out the Vlad.
Absolutely. Sinitrix is just needs to get gold funneled into his face right now. It's absolutely the main thing RSL have going for them as a team right now. That and Atlas just being a very fast stun boy. And they've secured themselves a chance to win this game. It's going to really happen in 40 minutes and 30 seconds. It's going to be their best opportunity to get this Drake in the meantime. It's about not bleeding too much, while also trying to deny the scaling from your enemy. And it's a very hard tightrope to walk.
It is a tricky tightrope for sure. We do see Random Capital standing on a ward. He's not aware of it, so this could end up being really, really bad, as there's 4 members of, the entirety of RSL is over here by this Baron Pit.
Yeah, going back towards the mid lane now. RSL is just focused on clearing waves, getting more gold, and Rogue Trader not really being answered on the bottom side of the map right now. It's really hard to commit weak side veteran over there with that teleport disadvantage. It's playing very well for the side of Goofy Goobers right now. And, Perpetual
we got
Dusk!
The Brillious Pumps, we got the Cataclysm coming out. Perpetual Dusk is caught out. He's going to get knocked up. He has no escape. He's taking so much damage. The Jarvan is not quite able to... Super Mega Death Rocket does manage to pick him off, and that is going to be a huge kill. That is a huge amount of damage that has been taken away from RSL. They do not have the ability to really contest the fight right now. Rogue Trader taking this engage under tower. They were mega a second ago, but unfortunately it ran out, so now they're taking a lot more damage. This is just going to be a nice bit of pressure coming out from the rest of Goofy Goobers as they're trying to push onto this mid lane, trying to find some targets, and it's basically just a siege with these champions. Huge dive in by Cinetrix, able to get onto Raccoon, dealing so much damage. They are finally able to pick him off. Random Capital is going to get ignited and taken away. Unfortunately, we do not see a TP coming out from Nar. It got canceled earlier. That is huge. Atlas chasing under the tower, trying to find the disengage. We do see a nice bit of stun, a nice bit of damage coming out from the rest of the members, but unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. Atlas is able to survive, and that is going to be huge. But look at this. Rogue Trader has come back. He's got most of his health on board. They're looking for a bit of an engage. He's looking for those targets to keep them from doing this Baron. He is able to hit Evan with an eye, slowing him down, but he's about to walk into 3 members of RSL. 4 now that Jin is back.
Yeah, but they are going to delay the Baron, but it's still going to get started up. Cinetrix, with her absolute heroics in the mid lane, catches Goofy Goobers too far forward, but now Nar is the one that's caught.
Rogue is caught a little bit too far forward. We do see that we have the teleport coming out. Random Capitals has arrived. The Kassadin looking for that side lane engage. Dives in, Rift Walk comes out, but unfortunately he's going to take a lot of damage, getting brought exceptionally low. A nice bit of healing come out. We do see that Steve the Crusader manages to take out Evan with an eye. Unfortunately, Cinetrix is going to go unstoppable and take out the Kassadin. We have a huge snipe coming out from Virtuoso as he manages to take out the Rakan. Red team does manage to take out the Baron, and that is going to be a huge shutdown as Cinetrix is taken out of the equation by the Gnar. This is going to be the rest of Goofy Goobers chasing down RSL, trying to find that engage. A nice stop. Rogue Trader not able to get the jump onto weak side Veteran, and unfortunately, that is going to be a couple of members down. Some nice kills traded back and forth. That Baron power play is going to be huge for Ragnarok.
Yes, but now Cinetrix is going to be dead for this Mountain Drake, and that means they're probably not going to be able to pick up the Mountain Soul. That being said, Random Capital's also still in Fountain. Atlas is just running
Trader walking right by Atlas, as that is going to be kind of a little bit of a cheeky play. The Gnar trying to get some damage off onto him, but unfortunately the speedy boy is just too darn speedy. Jarvan, what are you doing? Red Milk Tea jumping in, almost into killing himself by going on to 4 members of RSL. That engage was just not the opportunity he was looking for. And we see Gnar go mega. Rogue Trader is having to jump away, trying to find the disengage. They are going to be hovering over by this Baron. Raccoon is waiting in the wings. The damage is ready. We have both teams ready to fight this. Jarvan jumping in on the backline, man, just getting cataclysm with an absolutely huge, trapping in multiple members of RSL. Unfortunately, the card is going to flush out. That's going to be a huge, as weak side veterans on the backside. We have Random Capitals trying to get some mini targets, but look at this. Cinetrix just absolutely shredding the members of Goofy Goobers, as that is going to be a huge amount of damage coming out onto them. RSL manages to turn that 5v5 into their favor, picking off nearly every member of the Goofy Goobers.
Cinetrix wants to win this series so badly. It starts here chasing down Rogue Trader. Not too much is going to happen, just spells trading back and forth, but mainly it's time for Vlad to get back in the fray. Red Milk Tea is the one that has to try and make the engage and tries to find Evan with that Cataclysm. Not enough damage following through. Perpetual Dusk to save the free fire just long enough for Cinetrix to hit a huge ulti that kills Red Milk Tea and Raccoon Acquire instantly. And as a result, the remaining 4v2, well, that's going to go in the favor of RSL. The members of the Kassadin's not level 16 yet, and the Gnar's just not far ahead enough. It's just a little Gnar guy, you know, a little Yordle band.
Little Yordle band, little Yordle band. And let's take a look at these itemized right here, because if we look at it, only 1 member on Goofy Goobers has any healing reduction, and that is on the Rakan. So with that, that is really, really difficult for the rest of the members of Goofy Goobers to deal with him should he not be there, and he was taken down very quickly in that fight. Or he was pushed away very quickly in that fight.
And now RSL have the Mountain Soul. They still have a little bit of Baron left, and they're going to march forward towards the mid inhibitor, and they can't get the game here, surely.
Of all the teams that we thought would take this to a game 5, RSL has proven they are one to be reckoned with. With this Mountain Soul, they have so much resistance, so much shielding. It is going to be so difficult for the rest of Goofy Goobers to shred through them.
Yeah, Cinetrix, this game, has been absolutely incredible. And it's really, really tough to try and shut down this Vladimir in terms of what he can do. But it's all on Steve at the end of the day. The only one with heal reduction, the only one with ignite has to find it onto Vlad early in the fight, or things are going to go so poorly. And now there's extra resistances on board for the Udyr, for the Tahm Kench. It's going to be so much harder to rip through them. And man, everything's coming up RSL so far. Random Capital's coming close to that level 16 spike. Could be what they need. But I think it might be too little too late.
It definitely is, and the Vlad one-shotting them is also part of the problem. It's one of those things where there's only so much you can do if you're Goofy Goobers right now. You're looking for an engage, looking for a pick, which is exactly what they're doing right here. They see Cinetrix is available. Bring him. Narge is doing a lot of work on him, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough. Random Capitals in the meantime fighting weak side veterans down here in the bot lane. And then we see up here in the top 4v4. Basically all of the members have split across the map. It's just there's just so much that you want to see Goofy Goobers doing that there's just not able to catch up to this speedy boy of a team.
Yeah, and they pop the Shirelias, but get stuffed with a Deadly Flourish from Jhin, and that's going to prevent Rakan from running forward and getting things started. So the four members, the weak side four members of RSL, able to walk out safely, and Random Capitals just farming solo in the mid lane, has to hit level 16. Any minion now. It's just about time. Atlas here, taunting Red Milk Tea, just stopping that recall without even touching them, and things are so dicey. There's so much control for the side of RSL, and as long as they don't make a major misstep, they should be able to bring this one home.
They very well should. It'll be really interesting to see how it goes. Rogue Trader jumping in on a weak side veteran. They're building up that rage bar. It's almost here. Weak side is trying to find the engage. And unfortunately, he is able to get away. We see Steve the Crusader trying to get that knockup. Just barely misses it once again. It's a game of inches at this point.
Yeah, and the first inch, there we go. That top inner tower does go the way of RSL. One more standing structure off the map is one less thing between that Vladimir and the Nexus. Now, objective-wise, we have 55 seconds until Baron, a full 3 minutes until Elder. So, in 50 seconds, I imagine RSL is going to make a push for that Baron and to start to try and end the game.
They very well could. Kassadin has hit level 16. Could this be the game-changing situation that Goofy Goobers need in order to kind of bring this game home? They are currently about 6k gold behind, so it's going to be really, really tough. The itemization is going to be on the side of RSL, and it's just going to be a matter of are Goof able to find the goof that our Ragnarok puts out?
Oh, yes. It does have to come down to a mistake, mainly from Cinetrix on the Vladimir, or maybe Evan with an eye stepping too far forward. But whatever it is, it has to come relatively soon. This Baron is spawning in 1 second, and both teams are ready to jockey for it.
Both teams are ready. Baron on the field. Elder Drake up in a minute 40. We can already see vision control starting to go to the side of Goofy Goobers. They managed to get that Scuttle Crab. It's surprising how important that thing is.
It is a permanent ward in the topside river, and even though your opponents know it's there, it still puts up this sort of wall, right, where Evan with an eye walks forward, and they now know exactly where he is. They know where 3 members are right now, and they're boldly just going to start the Baron.
They're just going to start it. Like, this is just basically a situation where RSL knows they have the advantage. They know that they've got the shielding, they've got the resistances, so they can fight this Baron, quote unquote, for a lot longer than Goof would be able to.
Yeah, and currently, weak side veteran unmatched in that side lane. Unleashed teleport is online, so they will really be able to arrive at the fight. Rogue Trader also
starting it up online once again. The TP coming in from the backside. Tahm Kench coming to join the fray. The TP coming out from the Gnar as well. Cataclysm coming out. That's going to be huge. Atlas caught out. Not able to get in, but unfortunately we see a double kill as Rakan gets taken out of the equation. The ADC and the damage are gone. That means that Goofy Goobers have lost a lot of their control. We do see Kassadin trying to do the Kassa win, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to, as the rest of Goofy Goobers just made a huge goof, and they get chased out of the Baron pit, and that is going to be huge as the whole team just gets completely obliterated. Not able to escape. We see that Tahm Kench ate the Jarvan before he could get away, and that is probably going to be the final push. There's just no way they cannot lose this game.
Yeah, Raccoon and Choir, the only one that could really save this, has 12 seconds to go. Weak side veteran able to tank up the towers. There's not a lot of tower damage to come through from RSL as this counts down 5 on the Jinx. Steve the Crusader trying to stall as much as they can, and he's got weak side veteran off the tower, trying to find a knockout coming through, and the Jinx now has arrived.
They've arrived. They're doing what they can, trying to get as much damage as possible, but unfortunately, there's just not a lot on their side. The siege is in favor of RSL. Ragnarok has brought the end times to Goofy Goober. They're just doing so much damage to this Nexus. No matter what, the Casa win cannot win when there is an open Nexus, my friend.
Oh my goodness, RSL go the distance, picking up games 1, 4, and 5. A comeback win, to say the least. They walked into this series with no wins to their name, and they walk out, not the champions of the Mythic Spring Tournament, but confident in themselves and who they are as a team, able to defiantly stand up to Goofy Goobers and take them out of the tournament.
The absolute has been absolutely phenomenal. Other words to describe it. It is just absolutely insane. Ragnarok Esports claiming third place by grabbing it in their claws and just yanking it down.
Wow. Well done from Ragnarok Esports, and we haven't heard from them in an interview yet this tournament, Sheridan. They haven't won any games to their name, so I'm so excited to finally hear the voices behind the champions. And wow, they fought their hearts out for this series, and it went the distance.
I am super stoked. Folks, don't go away. We'll be right back. If you really want to go check out some other FOF content, make sure you drop by the website, check out the FOF Connect, our weekly magazine that we put out. Be sure to also tune in next week when we will have the FOF Valorant tournament. That'll be an exciting set of matches that we've got coming up. I'm really stoked to see something like that play on the stream.
That being said, we are going to go to break, though. Before we get to that winner's interview, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, friend or foe, viewers, fans, and friends everywhere. I am joined by our third place winner, snatching victory in the end. It is Team RSL Ragnarok Esports Loki. Congratulations to all of you, and welcome. How are you all feeling?
Pretty good.
Really good. Emotional as hell.
Emotional and pretty good, sounds like it, after a 5-game brawl. Some of the games were long and vicious. Some of them were just straight up slaps one way or the other, and it was a really entertaining series to watch and to be a part of. I can't imagine what it was like to have to be playing in something as volatile as that series ended up being. I do want to start by setting the table on how we ended up here. So let's talk. If I could go through with each of you, I'll run down the list of those joining us. Evan, however, is not with us. I do have the rest of the team with me on this, as you folks cannot see in Discord. As I just make sure you folks know that before I run down this list. I'm gonna go top to bot here, basically. Give me your thoughts and feelings on the season, how things went, the ebbs and flows for the 2 weeks of the round robin. Weekside veteran, let me start with you.
It started off pretty rough, honestly. I didn't really know how to play the tournament. I was still learning whether to play a carry play style or weak side with a peel champ. And our ADC is new to the team, aside from a couple of scrims together. So we were just managing to play more cohesively.
Interesting. Atlas, what about you? What were your thoughts as the captain here on navigating this round robin?
I definitely put us into this tournament with the idea of us having to punch up. This is our secondary roster, and I wanted to get them practice so that way we can compete in longer splits and actually just be ready for it. So even though we went 0-6 in the regular season, we were taking a lot from it, whether it was fixing our comms or draft or just our gameplay. We took so much from the season, and it was really beneficial for us to play in it.
Cinetrix, what about you?
Yeah, I was just looking to obviously get some playtime under a competitive scene, and yeah, I enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun.
Perpetual Dusk, what about you? What were your thoughts? It sounds like you are new to this roster. What were your thoughts getting some reps and some organized play here?
Man, at first it's actually I was really looking forward to playing on this team. I actually really enjoy playing in the competitive scene, but as the games were going on, like in the season, I kind of had some doubt on myself. I was like, man, should I really be doing this? But of course, I kept playing, try to figure out my play style, what I should be playing, because usually I play hyper carries, like Jinx, and all that. But obviously it didn't work out, so I need to figure out what was good for me. And obviously putting me on Zai was good, and putting me on quote-unquote utility champions, definitely not Ashe cosplay, seemed to work. And I think, honestly, what really helped me was just learning from every loss we had, learning from my mistakes, what we need to do better as a team, what really works for us, and just honestly, just I just say thanks to the team for having me here and helping me through this tournament.
Hell yeah.
The
Well,
series.
the round robin was behind us today, and that's sort of what I want to focus on, is that you're coming into today for the third place matchup, and it's 0-0 at the start of the day. It's a fresh page. Doesn't matter what happened back there. You can take the what you learned, as you all were alluding to. Definitely things to take away from those games, even if the scoreboard didn't reflect what you might have taken away from those games. Atlas, I want to go to you as the captain. Prepping for this series of best of 5 against Goofy Goobers, what were your thoughts? What were your plans coming into this on how you folks might be able to snatch victory here?
Well, we had a general idea with the 2 games that we played versus them of how they played. Just like carry mid, carry bot, play towards bot, just like level 3 gank bot very frequently. And so we went into the series like knowing that. But aside from just how they played, we do our obvious drafting, looking at OPs, looking at tournament history, what they've been playing, what's typically been against them. And then as for our own prep, we did a lot of time in flex queue, because while our mechanics were fine, our comp style was fine, we really wanted to hone down our comms, and there's no like easier place to do it than in flex queue. And I think that actually gave us a huge advantage when it came to the games that we won.
Let's talk about this series then. Diving into it, it was, as I was alluding to earlier, it started off in your folks' favor, striking first blood here in the series, and then things started shifting away from you until the fourth game was a resounding success on your folks' part, and Game 5 very even keeled. But you folks end up managing to get the upper hand in the end. I do want to ask you folks, running down the line here, maybe I'll run up the line this time. We'll start with you, Dusk. Talk to me a little bit, if you would, about your thoughts and your feelings throughout this series, especially with, it seemed like, in your case, there's a lot of attention being paid to the bot side of the map in your part by the likes of Atlas and Red Milk Tea. Dusk, we'll start with you. What were your thoughts and general feelings as the series went on and progressed?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be very honest. My thoughts and feelings were just like, okay, I'm in the ADC role, I play a lot of hypercase, I'm totally gonna carry this game, right? Yeah. No. Going through this series, I had to adapt my playstyle quite a bit. My thoughts they had to change constantly. It's like, I'm not the carrier. I should really be playing with the team, not having this mentality of just like, oh, it should always be about me, always be about me, I should be the carry. No, it doesn't work. This is a team game. And I think we've executed that very well, despite what, scoreboard says and all that. But
yeah,
I don't know. There's just a lot to say. I guess I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, no, it is, it's very humble of you to come out and say that out here on the desk. I appreciate that. And as a support main, I definitely appreciate that, because, one of my bigger gripes when I'm in the wilderness of solo queue is just not having ADCs that recognize their own mortality, or at least where they're at in the game, especially looking at these last 2 games where obviously Sinatrix was doing some serious work out here.
Yep.
So just recognizing, hey, I don't need to be 17-0 myself. Turns out I can just collect the kills where I see them, get the assists where they end up in my lap, and let the rest of the team work around you. And so working my way up here, Sinatrix, as I said, you were doing some serious work. Especially one thing I do want to ask you, were you at all surprised in coming into this 5th game that they did let you get the Vladimir again? Even though the first game, it was not nearly as explosive as the second game, but I thought you played it to great aplomb in Game 4. So generally, if I could ask you first, what were your thoughts overall on how the series progressed? But then if you could give me a little insight on that Vladimir in the Game 5.
Yeah, so we started off with a win, right? First game. They didn't pick, we were having trouble with the Seraphine pick. So we just decided to ban Akali and Seraphine because we're having a lot of trouble with like their dive. They were really only playing one playstyle. So then that's when I decided to switch it up, just go for the Vlad pick. for the fourth game. And then as I wasn't really surprised that they didn't ban the Vlad in the fifth game, but I thought they would have something like a counter matchup, maybe a Cassin or a Malzar to shut me down. But yeah, I mean, it worked really well with the team. Everyone played their part. It was just overall a great game.
Atlas, I felt like there was a lot of commotion coming out both ways from both you and Red Milk Tea in this series. I felt like a lot of the cadence and the tempo of these games was decided by where the junglers were paying their attention, and also sometimes for both of you, not being alive when certain objectives were up meant for major tempo swings throughout this series in multiple games. Talk to me a little bit, if you would, about this jungle matchup between you and Red Milk Tea.
The individual matchup I didn't really care for. I just wanted to make sure that we were recognizing the fact that he would just play kind of a perma-gank style or hard focusing on ganks. Not many junglers in this tournament, or even in like other tournaments that I've been in, focus on farm. They're just like, I'm gonna take a couple camps and then do like 8 ganks in a row. And so especially in like game 5, they went for, I think, a 4 camp into gank bot, or even a 3 camp, and meanwhile I've already cleared 5 camps. After they show bot, I go and take like some of his top jungle, and I ended up being like twice his CS at 4 or 5 minutes. And beyond that, it was just, I had so much XP lead that the early game was just done for him. And playing someone like Jarvan, he's not going to be able to surpass me in usefulness. Like, cool, he can EQ someone or are people without flashes, but I was joking about it with my team when we were watching the replay. If you were looking back at some of the fights, you would just see it stunned over so many people's names because I'm just standing in bear stance autoing people. Like, that's all I was, yeah, bear. And so like game 5, it was really just usefulness of the champs in general. For game 4, Kindred is a very good counter pick into Graves, outranges him, and just is a better champ than him. But he didn't. I'm just assuming that he doesn't really play the champ, so didn't utilize that to his fullest potential. They did play with the Kindred well, like pulling mid and top at my blue buff, I think it was level 3. But again, it was just I think he just wasn't familiar on the champ, and I was able to snowball my own leads. It seemed like there was a lot of overforcing on certain objectives when on both sides. Like, I'll admit fault to this as well. On certain objectives when we weren't in a position to be fighting it, and that really proved vital in games 4 and 5, where they would just either have to concede or have to force into us while we had a lead.
Yeah, in game 4 too, I do want to point out how hilariously sad it was to see the Kindred, when it was behind, go for what they thought was most likely a pretty decent skirmish, and then weak side veterans just like, yummy, and just spits Kindred outside of her own ultimate to watch her die. I was just like, oh, it's so sad. So tip my hat, dude. As I come to you, weak side veteran, let's take it from the top side, from the weak side veteran point of view. What were your thoughts from the top lane island, from Tom Kench Island, I guess I should say? What were your thoughts on how this series went for you?
It was about mostly just me making sure topside doesn't completely collapse. That's usually just what my role felt like. Just trying to protect people and making sure Nar or whoever I was going versus didn't get too far ahead. But really bad counter pick, or really bad matchup for me, so it was really rough. Yeah.
Hey, that's what
I don't know
that's
if
where
you
the
saw,
name
I was
comes
like
in,
just
right?
throwing Q at him and he was just dodging every Q. I legit couldn't trade with him.
annoying ass little tiny Yordle hitbox. And definitely one thing that I do want to point out is, folks, Ornn is a champion. You can play this champion. Please play this champion. I was listening to I Will Dominate talk about it. It's like the champion hasn't been touched in like 6 patches. Still good, guys. So glad you folks ever in this. So we saw plenty of Ornn hub coming in through this series on both sides of the rift. And let's wrap it up with a look forward. So just to put it plainly, I think this was quite the unexpected result for most people coming into this matchup, and this was really an exceptional showing from RSL, given what we had seen in the round robin. So I have to ask you, Atlas, having put this roster together, what are you excited about for? What are you looking at for what's next for Ragnarok Esports Loki?
I mean, we're already competing in Risen and very likely to win that tournament, Risen Dominate. Shout out to them. Beyond that, we're gonna be looking to compete in High Diamond Master Leagues throughout the summer. That's pretty much it. Like, we're just using this as a learning experience to move forward.
Right on. Well, hopefully it looks like you folks learned a lot, and especially seeing how you folks were developing over a 5-game series. Gotta love organized play, the hyperbolic chime chamber that some of these 5-game series and the series metas can create for you folks. So really a fun series to be a part of as a broadcaster, as an observer, and as someone who had front row seats to the whole thing. Really had a fun time, and I hope you folks enjoyed your time tonight too. Before we step away, though, RSL, I do want to give you folks the opportunity for any of you to step in. Final thoughts, shout-outs, banter, anything you'd like to say here before we wrap up our interview.
To all the teams, to all the bot laners that want to have their jungle gank me, level 3, you keep doing that. Because I'll out-farm you, just like I did in game 2. Y'all not good. I'll tell you that right now. Stop. Get some help. I am a better ADC than you.
All right. Anyone else?
And as a final thing to say, I think we should have the MVP, Sinatrix, end it for us.
Oh, there we go.
Well, all I gotta say is get Vlad ego picked, and yeah, that's all. Running over the rift. Dominating.
Hell yeah. Well, that was a really awesome series. Congratulations, folks, on getting 3rd place here in Mythic. It was really exciting evening of games. And wish you luck in Risen, and we wish you luck in whatever future tournaments you folks end up playing in. Good luck. Best of luck. Look forward to seeing you again. Hopefully, if we organize some play where you folks might be able to step in. So we'll see you soon, hopefully, but good luck over the summer. And that's going to be it here for tonight, folks. That is our Mythic 3rd place decider decided in the favor of Ragnarok Esports Loki after 5 games. We've got 2 more teams to settle in a set of games tomorrow with our 1st and 2nd place decider matchup for Mythic Spring Tournament. So we look forward to seeing you folks again tomorrow at 4:30 Pacific time to end our Mythic Spring Tournament and crown a winner. So we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Everyone have a wonderful evening and good night.